Okay, so my first question for you, BJ, is how did Deion Sanders change the way people see HBCU football?
Um, to be honest with you, I don't know if he did. I think that a lot of people who had, I think there were maybe some people there that didn't know what HBCU football was and took a look because of Deion Sanders and walked away with something other than what they initially thought. Um, but under the granular masses, nothing. In this country, we look at Power Five football as college football, and everything else after that is kind of, it's blurred lines. So with HBCU football being, FCS and Division Two, few NAIA schools, we already looked upon as lesser. Dion brought a spotlight to Jackson State. I wouldn't necessarily say that spotlight stretched throughout HBCU football.
Mhm. Were you kind of surprised he left for Colorado? And did you think that he was going to stay at Jackson State long term?
No, no, no. Wasn't shocked. Wasn't thrown off by it. I knew that there were going to be some opportunities out there, and if there was one that presented itself that would have materialized, that he would have taken advantage of that opportunity, just like me, you, or anybody else would.
Hmm. And were you shocked by the early success of the cultural phenomenon he brought at Colorado? Because Colorado was kind of like it's kind of like a Jackson State in the sense where it's like yes, it's like it's in a major city, but they haven't really been relevant in the national scene in a
Mhm.
while. So were you kind of shocked? But he brought not only did he bring the phenomenon from Jackson to Boulder.
That's Deion Sanders. That's prime time. That
Mm-hmm.
phenomenon going go wherever he goes. He'd be coaching at Wyoming next year. Wyoming is going to be America's darling, and all the attention is going to go there. It says more about who he is, the figure, the person, and what he's meant to popular culture and sports culture in this country for almost 40 years at this point.
Mm-hmm. And do you think do you think his attraction is more the fact that he's Deion Sanders, or do you think it's also because he is a black man who is not only proud to be a black man, but is showing the swag, the confidence of a strong black man?
Well, I think that it's Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders encompasses all of that.
Mm-hmm.
There are other guys that have tried. Like growing up, everybody wanted to be like Deion growing up. Like I wore number two and Pop Warner football because of Deion. People wanted a certain face mask because Deion Sanders wore it. And the bandanas and the headbands around the neck. He influenced the entire generation, and that's just because of who he is, and it's great to see it. He's doing, like I said, the same thing in Colorado. A lot of people discovered Jackson State over the last 2 years. A lot of people are now discovering Colorado. That's just the power of Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm. And is this the first black coach you've kind of seen act like Deion Sanders? Because a lot of times black coaches kind of like they kind of when you look at see them, you see them on TV, they kind of keep to themselves. They don't really like show out like Deion Sanders. So is that something that's new to you, or do you think that's something we haven't seen? Because a lot of times you see a lot of black coaches at the HBCUs. You don't necessarily see them at Power Five schools like a Colorado or a USC or UCLA.
I think Deion bringing his own flavor. You have some other guys, um, black coaches that are flavorful the same way. You just don't get an opportunity to see them. Reminds me of Alvin Wyatt, of Bethune Cookman, and the flair that he brought, years ago, and uh, you know, coaches like you had, even Eddie Robinson that told Dion, "You ain't swag." Just different coaches, from back in the day, whether Buddy Pugh was one of the legends that's stepping down now. Now, all of these guys had their own unique flair and swag about themselves. It's just, Dion is on the Power Five level where all the cameras are, and but mainly because he controls the cameras also. Wherever he goes, the
Mhm.
cameras will follow.
Right. And now we're seeing this now after he left Jackson State. The ratings have they've gone down. I mean, that it's not even just Jackson State. It's also just you kind of see that trend around other HBCUs because everyone kind of Jackson State benefited the most, obviously, but a lot of HBCUs benefited too because they started to see their ratings go up and see a little bit more money being put into HBCUs. But what needs to happen post Coach Prime?
Just basically, man, just keep taking advantage of the opportunities that we have when we have the MEAC SWAC Challenge and some of those big television events, and making sure that we are tuning in and attending. You know, attendance is up across the board. HBCU football for like the third year in a row. That's good. Attendance at Jackson State is down, but Jackson State still leads the nation in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
So give and take there. The biggest thing is, man, for us to continue supporting and spreading the word. The one thing I tell people about HBCU football, if I take you to a big HBCU football game, that's not going to be your last.
Right.
And that's from anybody, no matter what creed, shape, color, and sexual orientation, because there's something there for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the unique draw of HBCU football. So, like I said, the biggest thing is, man, just keep being passionate and take advantage of the opportunities we have. We got a few big ones getting ready to come up.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was 5, my grandfather was a Southern alum, and he took me and my mom to the Battle of the Bands. And I didn't get to go to the game. My grandfather went to the game, but I went to the Battle of the Bands with them, and that was awesome. That's probably one of the few events that I remember because I went and then also went to Hampton's homecoming when I was 5 too. So yeah, that was those events were awesome. And that's the thing about HBCU football. It's always been kind of special. It's just like its own little thing. I think that's what makes you unique. It's not like the Power Fives where obviously you have the pregame and then you have the game and then the halftime. It's basically an all day event where you have tailgating and you have the dancing like with the stomp the yard, and then you get to the game. Then you have the bands are blaring their horns before like an hour before the game. They go on the field, they're blaring their horns. And then there's the game, and then there's the halftime show, and then there's after the game with the band. I mean, it's very unique compared to other sporting events I've been to, and I've been to a bunch. But yeah, BJ, thanks for the interview.
No problem.
This means a lot coming from you and helping me out with my project. With the Black excellence in college sports, and also get the HBCU perspective on Deion Sanders as well. So, thanks a lot, man.
Man, appreciate that. No problem, man. You have a good one.
No problem.